Anyone? Anybody? Fuck. Anybody here? Is anybody viewing? I'm here? I'm live? Oh, right. Okay. Well, at least I'm here. That was my concern because there was 0 people here, and I assumed there would be more than that. Thank you for being here, Carol and Lisa. People are showing up, thankfully. I'm looking the part of Garth again. I got the stupid reader glasses on. I may be brilliant, but my hair isn't looking the part today. That's fine. I can live with it. Okay, anybody tell me if there's any problems with the chat or seeing or hearing me, anything like that? Hello, Lillian. Happy you all are making it. I had kind of an issue here with StreamYard. Normally I use Greenos because he's got his set up with Pro, but I could not log into it, and I couldn't reach him today. Hopefully he's out doing something video-wise. Only 6 people. That's very unusual. 7. Nah, I don't. My hair does not really look good. Believe me, I have spent today working my backside off. See, dog? Yes, I know exactly who he is. He is of zero interest. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, that is okay. It's not meant to be 666. It doesn't mean white power if you watch the news. Don't mean that. That's what the Satanists want you to believe because they want division, but... Oh, you did? Thank you. Thanks, Lisa. 8 people. Right on. Thanks for being here, Faith. Appreciate it. Just waiting for some people to show up because normally when I hit that within a minute or two, it's up over 20. Today, not so quick, not so fast on that. Let me check and see if there's... Yeah, okay, my banners are here. That's nice. That's my email. Super dupe. It's got my name there, Michael J. Cat. Business name, that's not my real name. Just for anybody wanting to throw that out there. It's just like I said, the man had never committed a crime. Caught committing a crime. I get it. I know. You know what? My life has changed over the last few days. Allow me to go on. You don't know what you miss, okay? I don't think that I have literally slept in a deep sleep for a decade. I have not even had a dream that I've remembered in a decade. When I lay down, it's like my mind doesn't shut off. Hold on there. It's like my mind doesn't shut off. It's like I lay there and for about an hour, I fall into like a half sleep where it still feels like I'm thinking, but I'm not sleeping. Get up 4 or 5 and go to the bathroom. Thank God I wake up for that. And then, I go back to bed and I'm laying there for an hour before I fall back into a light sleep. But I get up and I feel rested. Last 3 days, like a baby. Like a baby I have slept. So it just changed things. I'm just more willing to go do right now, even more so than what I was. 13 people. And something's unusual, man. Something is. I shared this out on Facebook and I said, hey, anybody seeing this because of the Facebook ban, please share it out. 8 people shared that out. And we got 14 people here. Usually it's way more numerous than that. Okay. Well, you know what? I can't just sit here and wait all day for a bunch of people to show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this directly to question and answer, because that is what this is. You know what, Faith? No, actually, it wasn't. It wasn't melatonin, but I would give that a chance. I mean, it wasn't anything drug related like that. I would like to say I'm kind of unclear on why, but it's just been good deep sleep. And when you lay down and you get a good deep sleep, when you wake up in the morning, it's a different world. It just is. I'm just loving life, man. I don't know who could be happier than me right now. But if you are, you know, God be with you. See, now 13. People, something's up. Something is unusual here. Active mind. Yeah, very true. My mind doesn't want to shut off, but like I say, very, very unusual. Well, 15. Okay, maybe people are coming on in, but I didn't want to get to anything and then have to repeat, if you guys know what I mean. Because if I had to sit here and repeat it and you guys already heard it, it gets pretty old real fast. So, anyways, no mystery. There's no mystery. Like I say, it's just getting good sleep, and I don't know why, but I'm happy it's there, and I hope it isn't taken away to where I go in one night and can't sleep at all, because that's been the occasion for the last 10 years. Just never really sleeping. So, a question and answer, because I have answers. And you know what? I would really like to see a good question. Some really good questions. You know, maybe the weather. Maybe that could be it, because I do sleep very better when it is cold. I mean, I like a cold room, thick blankets. Just the way I kind of like to sleep. 22. Now we got people coming in. You know what? True story. Because I had looked at this going back. Yeah, exactly, Lisa. Dick Blaine, whoops, awesome there, man. You know what? Normally, when I'm headed to bed, he already knows the exact time that I go to bed, because I go to bed at the same time every night. He beats me to the bedroom. You know, he's already in there, because that's where he sleeps. You know, for the most part. In the summer, he don't. In the summer, he'll lay out here until morning, because it's cooler in the living room than it is in the bedroom. But anywho, oh right, that Mama Bear. I go back, and this is on my old channel, which was named Michael Stroop. It was deleted from YouTube because I did not like YouTube. I did not like what they was doing. I was speaking out against them. 1, 2, 3, and they just deleted my channel just like that after having it up for 5 years. It's how they are. They're evil. They're leftist. But I was watching the guy who was talking about the biggest mistakes that YouTubers make. And one of them was burnout. And I knew exactly what that was, because I hit that wall many times. It was just like, I want to make a video on that, but I don't. I just don't want to. I don't want to sit down and have to do it. You know, and that's one of the things, if you make a lot of videos, you'll run into, it's just like, you know what, I don't want to sit down and do it. Because when you do it every day, you know, it starts to get very old just in the making of it. And I really did hit that burnout on my old channel. I do the same thing with editing. I don't like to edit. I enjoy watching people edit. I mean, I do. If Greeno's here, I mean, I will set, and, you know, I actually add in commentary, like, you know, what we should do right there. But I don't like to sit down and do it. It's the same as I can't direct myself. I can direct others, you know, because you see who they are and how they act and how that's going to play out. But I can't do that with myself. You see where I'm at? I can't sit and give myself directive. You know, I need somebody to kind of be that part for me. But anyway, did hit burnout on my old channel. And on this channel here, because it only pertains to the Delphi case, I don't want to burn myself out, but I don't want to repeat all the time. You know, so if there's anything new, that would probably, and it doesn't have to deal directly with the person that I call a suspect, but if there's anything that you have on your mind as far as a question, throw it at me. You know, let me see if I can. Yeah, I can. Okay, great. Because this isn't the pro, so I just want to see if that will pop up your question back up here on the screen. Yeah, you know what? Very, very true. Very true, Lisa. Because when I first started making the videos, it was fun. It was exciting. After I'd make a video, you know, especially when you first start the channel, you sit there and go, oh, "I got 5 views," you know, and it seemed really big. You know, I mean, just getting like a handful of views and the subscribers. It's like people subscribed and want to watch my channel. Wow, you know, and it's just. It's kind of, I mean, not overwhelming, but you just get this like, wow, people want to see what I say or the videos I make. But after a while, because I used to make a video every single day, every evening I would like make a video. And I mean, I did stop doing that like a long while back because the burnout got, you know, pretty hard. I mean, it was just like, yeah, I don't want to, you know, I mean, yeah, that'd be a good video. I just don't want to sit down and, you know, take the time to make it. Yes, exactly. You know what? I got a couple of new friends on Facebook, people that got a hold of me and said that they watched my YouTube channel, and you know, I thank them because it is good that they're on my Facebook because I always share my video to Facebook normally. You know, after it's complete, I share it onto there. Now, what's on there today is just a photo because I'm using StreamYard, so I can't really, you know, how do I put it? I don't want to upload like directly to that because that leaves this open. And then when I go live, it won't start. So the people that are tuning into that won't see me live. Whereas if I post a photo saying I will be live, then they can go to my channel and they know right where to find me. So, hello. Oh, wait, wrong one. They pop up just, hello, keep it real, please. Wendy, how you doing? Faith, it's not that they're waiting so long. It doesn't have to do with them waiting so long. They want to make sure it's done correctly. Now, when you have the case that involves, and actually the total count of it is 16 felonies. One of the big one is first degree murder, but there was 16 total felonies wrapped up into that case. You can't throw that in and get it over with overnight. And I think that we're all probably on the same page when I say we want justice for that, because Jamie Schmidt did not have that coming, you know, to go in there and do that to any human being. He must face justice for that, you know, and that's not even looking at the other side. That's not even looking at what I think happened there in Evansdale or Delphi. You know, those two need the same for whomever had committed those. I mean, you know who I believe did. But, you know, justice needs to be served. And in Delphi, there really can't be justice, you know, because it doesn't matter at all what the suspect would get out of that. It will not bring back those 2 precious lives that was lost. And, you know, that's not even justice for those girls because they can't go home, you know. And that is what kind of kept me on, you know, watching this at first. That's what kept me into this case. And to me, I believe it's solved. Law enforcement would agree if they could, but they can't. So it is solved. I know that Sheriff Lesenby knew what I knew before I knew it. You know, I'll put it to you like that, because he had the firsthand knowledge, the phone call, the witnesses, that they, you know, he had all of that. And all I did was catch wind of the name and started my investigation from there. They already knew. I really didn't, Lily. Uh, I don't know why it's bigger. I have no idea. And hello, Lily White. Glad you could make it. It's honorable, Lisa. He got out as on an honorable discharge. I mean, he left after his time was up. I think he did 11 years, but it was honorable. I mean, he wasn't booted or anything like that. Carol Rose. That was hi to Lily. But, thank you for saying hi to Lily. And I did. Well, any others there? Any questions? Because I've slept. I feel like answering questions. I was sitting here the whole day, man, just talking to Wook, man, answering every question he had. I wish I had video of that. Yeah. I mean, from my understanding, he enjoyed his time, man. I mean, 11 years. I don't know why anybody would put 11 years in and then get out. It seems like if you put 11 years in, do the rest of the time and retire. And why wouldn't you want to? I mean, that's only like 9 more years. 11. Yeah, 11 years, Jan, is what he was in the Navy. And that was actually in the article that was in the St. Louis paper, I believe, where they was talking about the fact that, he served in the Navy for 11 years. Yes. Now, people was asking the other day, or actually was kind of on the side that, well, I don't think he looks in that good a shape. Well, if we was to go there and you was to walk that route, there's only the one real tough part, and that's going down that ravine and back up the other side. However, if now that ravine, understand that there's a hill that goes like this on that north side. It's pretty steep, but up at the top, it levels off like this. Now, if he walked all the way up to the graveyard and then walked across, not into the graveyard, but up by the graveyard, so that he wouldn't have to go down that big ravine that's in that hill, he could have did that, no problem at all. And I mean, like, I think that a guy even in not that great a condition could have did that. It's not anything that a Superman would have to do. 40 people. Right on. Yeah, if I could get 40 thumbs up, you'll all rock. I can tell you that right now. Oh, C. Dorton. You know what? I'm sorry, C. I really am. I'm probably going to have to dedicate this show to someone else. I mean, oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. There you go. We'll go to Lily's dog. There you go. And yeah, you know what? And then she's talking about you. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Oh, geez, Louise, man, could I stop doing that? Here you go. Nope, crap. Gee, here you go. Hi. There we go. Now let me put Michael J. Cat back up there. People like to know who I am, and that's a business name. Thank you, business name. Well, you know what, C. Dorton, I'm grateful that you are. Mama Bear, that's I don't know that it would be PTSD. I don't think that he and I would have to think of the time on that. But being in the Navy, it's not like he was out there in the field. I wouldn't think that. I don't think that it would be anything that would kind of push him to an edge or whatnot. Now, Daniel Nations, he had PTSD. He had anger issues. But you know what I do? I look at his family. Okay. I mean, I don't want to draw his like family and all that into this at this point. But the simple fact is that, I mean, his mom was using crack. His uncle killed his mom over a fight over crack. His dad was a child molester doing life in prison. And if you look at Daniel Nations, there's a reason why he was messed up. And it's not Daniel Nations right here. It's because probably what he had to go through growing up. Okay. Do Mama Bear, or aren't you a moderator? If you could kindly escort Revealing Star to the door, please, that you'd be helping me out. No. Just give him the old boots of Ruski. Thank you. Grateful. Because here's my take. Why would they show up at my channel? Why would they come here to say that comment? You see where I'm at? Yeah, exactly. Why? What's the purpose? You know, what do they get out of that? They're just here to be a douche. What do I give them? A douchebag's reward. And I thank my moderators for that. Respect the channel, yes. However, I mean, I have no deal with anybody in disagreement. But if somebody is in disagreement, I want ample evidence for it. Because if there is good evidence for it, you know, I mean, I'll be like, I was wrong. But when somebody just comes on here to, you know, say something like that, let me tell you, they do not know squat. They cannot, because I've already said I would lay my left arm against $100,000 any day of the week on it. You know, I'm not really sure. I mean, like, I know he's Scottish, and I believe that that was a Freemason. But he's Scottish by birth. You know, I mean, I understand there's the Scottish Rite, but in order to be in the Scottish Rite, you got to be a 33rd degree Mason. Now, I don't know whether he was a 33rd degree Mason. You know, I mean, I can't say one way or the other if he was a Mason. I'm not a Mason, you know, but I can't say whether he was or not. But I think that the traffic stop and him walking away while being that intoxicated, after clearly slamming his brakes on so the other guy would hit him, yeah, there's a case there that can be made that he probably was a Mason. So was the trooper, and that's why he got to go home rather than being arrested. You know what, Carol? No, I have not heard one. Well, no, wait. I did. One person that actually came forward. Two, honestly, the 77-year-old lady and the man that was involved in the traffic stop, the one where he slammed his brakes on and that guy hit him. He said he got out and started chest bumping him. He said he could tell because that man had a Notre Dame shirt on, and he's like, oh, a Notre Dame fan. He goes, I could tell the guy didn't like Catholics. But those are the only two that from Scotland. Emily, oh, hey man, all right. You know, I enjoy hearing like other people from other countries that are, you know, and that's really cool. But anyway, those were the only two people that actually said anything about him being other than kind, friendly, caring, and loving. You know, everybody's was on the same side, and it's just a flippant personality to actually go from that guy to the guy that we know committed the Catholic supply store homicide. You know, I mean, that guy was not right. There's just no way. A human being don't go do that to another. Wolf, hello. You know what? Thanks, Mama Bear, because that is exactly what I call him. Half the time I call him Wolf. At the other time I call him my bear. I was like, good job, Bear. I mean, he's got more names, but he knows every one of them. He's very good with his vocabulary. He did have a temper. He did have a temper, but you know what? And this is me. And again, I want to point out that when I say the words I believe, I feel, I think, and so forth, like that it's more speculative. But I think that temper arose when he was drinking. And I would even go out on a limb as far as to say that all of the crimes that he committed, he was under the influence to some degree. And I think that when he has been drinking, his temper will flare. I mean, you know what? In a way, it's it's kind of like me. I'm not an angry person. I don't go out of my way to be angry. There's just some people I get angry with, not right away, but it's what they push to when I'm like, you know, and they keep going, and when I see it, then it's like, you know what? Listen to me. Then I start to get a little angry, but I think that the alcohol really brought that out in him. And that could be part of that. I mean, understand, because when I was drinking, and for 12 years of my life, I drank 24/7. I mean, I had to. I couldn't sleep without alcohol. I would have to get like intoxicated enough to pass out. Then I would wake up like within 4 hours shaking, and I would have to go back in there and drink more, which would automatically be vomited up because my stomach didn't want it. It just wasn't going to happen until I got enough in me where I'd start to get a buzz. Then I could just really slam some and go back to bed. Now, through that time of those 12 years, I was different. You see, there's me, and then there was the drunk me. There's the guy that would take crap. There was the guy that was drunk that's like, what do you mean? What are you saying? Because then it triggers a switch. But I think that up here, he already had that switch. It was already there from something probably underlying in his youth, I would think. No, well, wait. Excuse me. I thought that Revealing Star was gone. I mean, did somebody not say that they were gone? Did somebody not tell me that they were booted? Then why? Yeah, I don't think that that was the case in that. I mean, I really don't. I don't think that it was like that exactly. I mean, I don't think that the guy was an alcoholic. I could be wrong. I believe that he was drinking through the, before each crime was committed. But I don't know that it was like that exactly. Oh, yeah, no problem. And I don't know exactly what the apology is for on that. I mean, I didn't, I don't remember catching that from you. Man, hold on. I got to catch up down here with the questions. 12 cut, glad you made it. Okay. No problem at all. Okay, I didn't really see any. If you did ask a question, go ahead and throw it back up. I may have missed it because that's just life. Greeno ain't here, and I don't think Alaska Blue is either. Is the only moderator Mama Bear? Oh, you know what? Okay, yes, I do. I do. I do kind of remember that. And I don't know how I responded, and I hope that it wasn't harshly, because a lot of times when somebody comes on and I feel that they're saying something to get under my skin, I let them have it. Not a little bit, real big, deep and wide. That way I know they're coming back to give me a view every single video with the thumbs down. That's how I keep track of them. But I did not boot you for that. And I mean, I'm sure that I took it in stride. You know what? See, I got a little bitty monitor here, so when I try to scroll down, it will scroll back up. I need to get a big monitor again. Mine blew up. Got hit by lightning. Man, blew everything out, man. Blew my video card out, my monitor, my router. Boom! It was gone. You're probably right, Lisa. But you know what? It's kind of a thing. I mean, because if somebody did say that to me about him being dead, I would probably, and no offense at you, but I would probably think, yeah, this person don't really know much of anything, and probably just went about my way. I don't even give people a thumbs down. Even if I don't like their comment or I'm going to boot them, they just get booted. If I don't like somebody's comment, I will leave a message telling them why, but I don't give a thumbs down. That thumbs down thing gets just really stupid. I am not a thumbs down person. When I watch a video, I will always, almost always, every single time. I mean, unless it's something that somebody put up that is something completely different, then it'll get a thumbs down because they know what they did. But other than that, if I watch a video and I enjoy it, when I click on it, I automatically hit the thumbs up. I'm not telling you guys to do that for my video here, but what I'm saying is that's what I do. You know what? Maybe. I do believe so. Because the letters I've wrote him were very thick. I know that he got them, and I mean it was like 6 or 7. I haven't wrote him in probably a couple months, but I know he got all my letters. I explained everything, and I ain't just talking about like my side. I mean about the last press conference, about the briefing, you know, everything where he was in jail because he's not allowed a razor. I don't think he's allowed writing instruments without supervision for reasons that he could hurt himself or others. But he knows who I am, and I certainly feel that he knew who I was beforehand. You know, because I mean, on the Evansdale profile, because I think it fits most people that commit crimes like that. They keep up on it on social media. And if you was at that time, because my old channel was in existence, even up to now, if you put in, it isn't like that now. Now, if you put in Delphi Murders, I'm going to be way down the line. They made sure of that when they deleted my old channel because I was #1. I mean, on Google, on YouTube, all went to me. You put in Delphi Murders, I was going to be 8 of the top 10. They don't want that. They don't want that. In fact, it was probably done because law enforcement said Indy's channel. Wait, I seen another one up here. You know what, Faith? I don't really know. I mean, but again, I don't think it comes down man or woman. I just don't think that he's allowed to write. I mean, unless he's under supervision, because they would have to give him a pencil, something to where he could, you know, it's like full-time suicide watch, because otherwise they'd give him a razor. They don't. I mean, he probably right now he looks like Grizzly Adams. 35 thumbs up with 49 watching. Oh, ain't too bad. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, aside of just writing him and telling him what was going on at those, I hang on, because I keep looking back over here for other questions before they scroll on up. But I did give him my own thoughts on it. In fact, one of them was my own thoughts on it. Gave him every piece of evidence that I knew, everything that I had found. I gave him the profile from Evansdale and showed how that tied. Every single thing that I knew, I wrote and I told him in one big thick. It was like a 7-page letter, man, that I copied out. And that was copied. That was damn near a book. I told him, put me on visitation. I said, when you get to Carroll County, and you will, make sure I'm on visitation. I don't know whether he's naked in the cell. I don't know. Well, one time, well, you know what? I mean, you do kind of make a point there because one time when I got thrown in Howard County Jail and I threw a fit, I mean, a big ballistic fit. And that cop let me have it, man. He did. I mean, I was cuffed and everything. He's like, bam. So let's get him. And they threw me in the, what do you call that? The isolation padded wall cell. Totally stripped me naked and threw me in there. But I was only in there for about 24 hours until I seen a psychiatrist, a psychologist. No, he is in protective. They would not put him in population because then he couldn't be watched as strictly as what he could otherwise. So they probably have him in an isolated cell. I didn't put that. Oh, okay. I got to that, Mama Bear. Okay. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think that I don't know, man. Maybe I could call and they'd tell me. I don't really know, but it's just like this. He never had a beard. I mean, you can't look back at any time in his life, even when he was young in the Navy, and all of his pictures. He's clean shaven except for the mustache and the little goatee. He never had a beard, and then when he goes to jail, every time he goes to court, that beard's longer and longer. So I do believe that is the reason they don't give him a razor. No, I do not. I think that it is. I mean, to a degree, but I think that everybody that could or would have been talked to, like friends, people that knew him, stuff like that, they've been talked to. I mean, his neighbor down there in Imperial, when I reached them, she told me, yeah, that's the same thing that the FBI had asked me. So I knew that the FBI was down there. Now dig, the FBI was asking her about the video from here in Delphi. Now that tells me because the FBI had asked her that, and that's kind of an important point. If the FBI is asking, do you think that this is him? It's because the FBI has very a high suspicion that it is him. I'm not alone. Call and ask for medical. Okay. All right. I got to read back up these, so it takes a moment. But I think other than that, I think that the case is going according to plan because they have investigated him and they are using the FBI, which I had made mention to. That's why the FBI was there. And Sheriff Lesenby said that they was definitely helping with investigation. That was right after the murders, like a month or so after. So I think everything's narrowed down on him. I don't know that he would be sedated or in an infirmary. I think it would probably just be an individual cell. Now, you know what? I want to take that back because I was in the padded cell there in Howard County, but when I was in Carroll County for something that I didn't do, I'm talking more specifically here. The reason that I was put into isolation, it was somebody else. I wasn't telling on them, but they didn't like me. Yeah, they did not like me at all. But I was put into an isolation cell, and it was nice, except at nighttime when everybody was yelling back and forth. And then I'm at the window going, that really irritated me. No, I don't. I don't. I think he's going to be kept there until they are done with him. And at that time, when he's sent down to DOC, or where he gets his DOC number to go to Missouri prison, that's probably when he will start hitting population. But yeah, you know what? I don't know either. I mean, I really don't. I don't know what that they would do in that case. I mean, I can tell you right now, I was taking Valium when I went to prison. When I mean, not while I was in prison, beforehand, because it was prescribed by my doctor. They will not give you Valium. I say it's prescribed to me. You ain't getting it. It's a narcotic. So, they really don't give you anything when you are in jail like that. Trazodone, they might knock you down with that for a while, but that's if you're acting up and getting psychotic. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And again, I mean, like, I could go on with that all night. That the person that committed the murders does not live in or around Delphi. Never did. Because if they did, they would have been hit ages ago, right off the bat. They would have been known. I mean, a town of 3,500 people, and here you got video and pictures, a sketch, audio, and nobody knows who he is. But yet they come out and say, well, we think he's 18 to 40. I'm like, no, dude, no. But that's, and it did. It took a couple days because I had to sit and think on that. Like, why would they say that? They know better. They positively know better. I mean, why are they trying to buffalo the public? Why are they, and that was my anger at that time. But after thinking about it, I'm like, I get it. I get it. I know what's going on. They're killing the investigation, not stopping the investigation. And I don't mean it like that. What they're doing is they're stopping the whole thing from having to go out and investigate any new call. If they hand out old information and they call it a new direction, anybody calling on that, we don't need to investigate those people because we already know who did it. You see where I'm at? That was the naming. That was the reason for the naming. That was the reason for them handing out old information. And, once I got that, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly why. It is. Because, look, there's no question in my mind. Zero. He did it. Left arm against $100,000 just because I'll take $100,000. That's the only reason. His current charges? His current charges would have to be not guilty, because had he have pled guilty, had he have pled guilty, there would be no time waiting for a jury trial. You see, and the jury trial's in October of 2020. So I mean, he didn't go in and plead guilty to it, but they wouldn't accept that anyway. If he said guilty, they'd go, yeah, you know what, we're going to put this down as not guilty. Because you can't just go in and say, yeah, I did it. And they say, oh, okay, well, here you go. There is the whole matter of due process. I doubt very seriously that he does know anybody from Delphi. And I know that a lot of people have asked about that. Like, well, did he know the family? Did he know the girls? Is he from Delphi? No, I think the Monon High Bridge Trail was probably a general stopping point, like a rest area. From where he went St. Louis to Fort Wayne or up to Montrose, Michigan, which is just straight north of Fort Wayne. I think that that's the route he always took. It was a general stopping point where he'd get out and hike. And again, if you went to Monon High Bridge Trail and seen it, is 3/4 of a mile. That's the walk. It's one trail. You know, it ain't big, it ain't huge, it ain't multiple trails. It goes down, and about the halfway point, it splits into two, but they're just really close. One is actually just, you know what, I wouldn't even say 30 yards away, you know, from the other, but, you know, where it splits off, they follow like that. But this one goes down to the water right by the bridge, whereas this one goes right on to the bridge. So you know, like I said, it's an easy trail to look at. It's nothing to learn, because once you've been there and you've hiked it a few times, you know it, you get it. That probably isn't so. That's probably not so, and it's for the reason of they know what will happen if they put him in population. Now, usually in that case, because I mean, like I went to Westville and there was people in there child molest, and they had them in protective custody, and they were all kept in the same area, and they all, you know, like that. That way, people to the outside in population couldn't get their hands on them, and that's wrong. That's wrong, because when you go to prison, your ass needs to be in population. I went in for a marijuana charge. Let me tell you, the people in there, they weren't in there for a marijuana charge. I mean, I was locked up with some insane people. People that's like, see, I don't even want to meet people like that. But here I am locked down with them. That was scary, people. Yeah, 44, but jeez, man. Yeah, a handful, which ain't bad, because I don't mind. I'll talk to two people or one person if that's all that showed up. But exactly, exactly. What kind of a mind lurks inside of him? I mean, everybody, hey, man, a happy, friendly guy. Yeah. Well, there's another side to that soul, man. There is definitely a wrong, demented soul inside of him to do the acts. I mean, and the only one that I can positively say is the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide. I mean, a preacher wouldn't do that. Sodomy? I mean, man, that's like totally the anti-Bible. You know, you don't go in and do that stuff. It don't matter who you are. I mean, it's just a wrong thought process, man. And I mean, I have to put it back to his youth. I mean, nobody just gets drunk and suddenly becomes that person. They were that person. You know, the alcohol just helps bring it out. Did I miss one from Leslie? I didn't see it up there, unless that was one that I just answered. Yeah, but I don't think that he knew anybody in Delphi. Now, I mean, I say that as more of a, if he knew somebody there, let me put it to you like this: if somebody there knew him, they would have turned him in after that video was released in the sketch. You know, I mean, they could have checked, hey, where was it? You know, something like that. You see what I mean? Because look, man, over 46,000 people phoned in, called someone in. 46,000, all man, woman, and child of Carroll County's 20,000. Now that's kind of crazy, because that was a lot of people calling up a lot of people that had nothing to do with this crime. Why? Because they look like the photos of Bridge Guy. That's why. You know, I don't know that it would have to be like that. I mean, I really don't. I mean, like commissary, I mean, that would be great. But the thing is that if they put him in population, it would happen. Jeffrey Dahmer, I use him as a prime example. He was in the kitchen. There was other people there that was from population. One of them says, guess what? This guy's going to die because I'm doing life. I ain't got nothing to lose, you know, and killed him. That might be. that very well might be. And everybody asks, like, well, why didn't he kill the lady with the dogs? Well, I mean, you look at it like this. If a person is out to, and I'm just using this as an example, to commit rape, do they just rape anybody? I mean, anyone? Well, there's got to be a preferred victim type. Somebody, a type of person that you're looking for. That lady probably wasn't that type. She was like, she had dogs with her. He knew that she had come from very local to have the dogs with her, that somebody could be following back behind her. Or if she didn't get home at a certain time when walking the dogs, which may take so long, somebody might come looking for her. What was he going to do with the dogs? You see where I'm at? There's a lot of reasons that, he wouldn't have did that. But I think that he was there not specifically for, but maybe. I mean, a girl that age isn't out by herself. She's got a friend or a family member with her. They're always going to be in like a set of two. You know what? The only one that I found was Evansdale. That was it. And I did check because what I did when I found out that each one occurred like 1 month after he had lost a job, I went back and looked at a job that he had lost prior to that and then checked at that time. I even went to unsolved murder cases that were within that year, and I didn't find anything that fit the exact same MO as Evansdale and Delphi, but nothing local, nothing that was like right there on a small hiking trail. And most all of them over time were solved. There was no MO that exactly fit like those two. Now to say that none were committed, I can't, because maybe he did it in a different way. But I can't put a finger to any. Yeah, exactly, 12 cut. And, that's why I felt that he was back at the bend, because back at the bend of that trail, you can look back behind you to Freedom Bridge. You can see a long way if anybody's coming. You can also look down at the bridge, the Monon High Bridge that they were on, and say, okay, now they're on the south side. Nobody's coming. I can get across this bridge before anybody could get up here and spot me. Now, when he's walking across that bridge rather quickly and would keep looking behind him, that probably tipped him off. Again, I think that there was probably words between them when they came in. I don't know what words, but for a guy to walk up to two little girls and say, guys, down the hill, that indicates that there were words prior to. Because you wouldn't just walk up and say, guys, down the hill, unless you had prior words beforehand. But again, that's using an educated guess. I don't really know that to be true. But I feel that it is very likely true. Hello, Radar. Glad you're here. You will pardon me for a moment whilst I vape. It's what Columbo would have wanted. Just one more thing. I like saying that. Just one more thing. Yeah, nobody gets notified. Radar, no one gets notified. That's why I always give a time. That way they can just show up, because if you're waiting for a notification, they shouldn't even have that bell down there. They just shouldn't. That bell should be illegal, because you know what? YouTube's going to notify anybody they want to notify. And you know what? On my channel, nobody gets notified. And they show up late and say, I didn't get notified. That's why it's a time set. Right now, from here on, it's going to be at 6 o'clock every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, just so you know. Did either of you guys get legal justice or any kind of justice acknowledgement or anything? I don't know that was toward me. Maybe that just popped up. I don't really know. I mean, there is a name that I could throw out there, a woman that was killed in just right outside of St. Louis. She was seeing a guy from St. Louis, and she was at an Amtrak station. She came up missing after being dropped off at the Amtrak station. Now, nobody just walks up to a complete stranger and drags them out of an Amtrak station. You see where I'm at? It had to have been somebody that she knew, and it may very well have been that person from St. Louis. And she was found in the woods, and it was just skeletal remains, and the person had tried to burn them because part of the skeletal was carboned up. Yeah, I agree, Mama Bear. And then that's what I had said to Kim Riley when he said it's like the man had never committed a crime before. I says, well, I mean, not directly on my first one, but I said, well, it just seems on a crime like this, the guy would have had priors. It just doesn't. And, he said, and I don't think that he meant it exactly in that way, but he's like, well, I mean, there has to be a start. There's got to be, a first. But even now, knowing, I don't believe that was his first. I mean, I can definitely put Evansdale right in his pocket now. Your Central time. I see. I got you, Radar. Yep, Central. That's why I always tell people Eastern time. Now we used to switch. We used to not have the daylight savings. We'd go from Eastern to Central, and then from Central back to Eastern as the time change happened. But now that's what we do. Central time change. Eastern time changes here into. I don't really want to cancel, but the thing is that when I sit down here, whenever I do a live show, I'm going to repeat mainly a lot of things that I had. I mean, I would like, I like questions. I really need to sit down sometime and just think over the questions that I have and then kind of bring them up to people. But the thing is that the questions that I have can't be answered. I mean, that's the lowdown. What month and year can we talk to him again? Are you speaking of Thomas Bruce? Because I think that would be December of 2020 to March of 2021. Right within that time frame is, when they will be able to go down and speak to him. And as soon as they speak to him, they'll hit him with murder charges. So it will probably be within a day or two, maybe longer, because there's a lot of questions that they would have. But after they're done talking to him, they wouldn't then file charges. I do too. I don't like psychologists. The last one that I had to see, and that was because of my drinking. I was just very blunt with him. I'm like, look, you know what? I could sit here for 8 years, 8 years, and tell you everything. And you know what you're going to do in 8 years? You're going to tell me everything that I already knew. That's your job. That's why you went to college. And they don't heal the human mind. They don't. They don't. I mean, when you go there, I think that they just want to hear all your inside information. They don't go, well, because of that, I think that what's about, it ain't like that. They give you some medication for your symptoms, and they don't really heal anything. I've never heard of anybody going to a psychologist and bam, I was healed. Don't happen. Psychology is worthy of looking into, but understand, if you're looking at psychology like that, you're really looking back more like Freud, Jung. I mean, those were the people that really brought out like the most of it. And then you look at technology and you go, but why isn't that advancing? Because they don't want it to advance. Yeah, they got it, they can use it, but they don't want you. They don't give that shit to the slaves, people. They don't want anybody getting healed. They want you to go in and they get that big money for you sitting and telling them all your crap. And you know what? Just like she had said, the biggest thing that a person can do for themselves is to meditate. That is absolutely true. That will clear your mind, man. That will bring you down, right back down to earth. Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Big pharma, big tobacco. You know what? They own the lobbyist in Washington, D.C. What they say is going to go. Oh, you didn't want to vote that way? How about $1 million? And oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you got my vote. Hang on. Because that's how they're swayed. We elect them to represent us, but they don't. They represent the person who brings the money to them. I mean, if I reach my representative, waiting, because you're not going to actually talk to them where they give a crap. If you say, well, I'd like to come and talk to you about something, and you offer them a bunch of money, hell, man, if you got more money than the next guy, you can buy their vote. That's how it works in this country. We're not a republic now. We was a republic. We're still called a republic. I mean, if you look at the books, truth is now we're a democracy. No, everyone says democracy. Guess what, people? We're not a democracy. We were born a republic, and to the republic for which it stands. Because look, man, here's the democracy. You got two wolves and a sheep. They're voting on what's for dinner. Guess what? All you got to do is buy those votes, change the law. Yay, democracy. That's why democracy fails. That's why we're not a democracy. We're a republic where they can't take away our rights, but they have. And see, people never lose their crap over that. I mean, Second Amendment says shall not be infringed upon. Why do I need a carry permit? Why? I got a Second Amendment that says go bite my ass. You'll go to jail for not. No, I won't. Oh, no, I will not. The judge is sworn to the Constitution. When I bring that forward to him, he's going to know what I'm talking about. There is no way that they could make me pay to carry a handgun. Ever. Would not do it. Thank you. No, you know what, 12 cut, I don't even go there. I don't touch that at all. I really don't. I think that went down in a different manner completely. I think that he had a handgun and had him under duress. I mean, like if they tried to run, I mean, think about that. If somebody had a handgun and said, you listen to me and you won't die, would you try to run from them if they got a handgun? No, nobody would. Nobody in their right mind would, because they know that they would die the moment they tried to. And I mean, and that's part of the sadness. I missed that, Faith. Are you guys talking about the shack? I see. Man, I hear a lot of shooting out there, but it's deer season. Normally, people aren't out here getting shot. That wasn't the sheriff. I think that was Doug Carter. He's the head of Indiana State Police. That had mentioned the shack. But again, I think that it was because it was a movie that dealt with the sadness of, losing a child in that manner. And that may have been geared maybe more toward the family because, and people all, they try to make it like he was talking to the guy. Well, they don't know the guy, excuse me, they did at the time. But the thing is like they wasn't bringing it forward to the suspect, at least to me. You know what? I don't really know, Radar. I really don't. I don't know what they do. I know this, that if I had a handgun, I would have it holstered. I would have it holstered when I went outside. And if they asked for a certificate, I would just tell them to bite me. I got a Second Amendment. And later, oh, no, you will not take me. You better get your hands off of me. That's why I go to jail. I do not put up with police because police are the issue. They are the enemy of the free people. Allow me to explain. America is, and if you look at the Constitution, there are two jurisdictions that a person can be tried under. Criminally, it says common law. Common law means one thing, and that's our freedom. It means that if you do not hurt another person, you do not hurt another person's property, or you have not committed theft, you committed no crime. Have a nice day. Well, man, everything's against the law in America. They say it's against the law, but it's not really law. It's codes and statutes. It's statutory jurisdiction. You see what I mean? It's maritime admiralty is what it really falls under. But criminally, in the Constitution, you can only be tried under common law or a jurisdiction that is in harmony with common law. Well, statutory jurisdiction is not, akin of in any way to common law. Now, you could say, well, if they're sworn to the Constitution, you got to be lying, Kat. You got to be lying. Well, I'm not lying because you know what? If I was to talk about that and that goes on my other channel, UCC1, you will find out why. Because the real true and simple fact of it is every single one of you are free and sovereign, like a king. Sovereign like a king, just like was mentioned in the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. We got the Bill of Rights, but honestly, that's been crapped on, and it isn't anything that I want in. I don't want in on that. What I want is my human rights. Those are the tossed. Those are the big ones. The civil rights and all that crap. That's what the government hands out. That means it's absolute That's all it is. And people want to stand on their civil rights. Don't. You're a human. We're all a human. We're one race. One race, human. Don't care your religion. Don't care your race. One, human. You have violated my human right to protect myself. You see, that's what happens when they try to get you for carrying a gun. Hey, I got a right to protect myself. Back the hell up. You know what? Do it. Go out and shoot because nothing is better than, I say nothing. Look, man, when I was 5 years old, my grandfather who raised me took me out. We had a 22 And we went to a little country bridge on a little country road, and he showed me how to load it, how to fire it, safety, firearm, you know. And we'd go down there every week. We'd go get our hair cut on Sundays, and we'd stop there, and, you know, we'd select little targets to shoot at. He showed me how to shoot a gun under supervision when I was 5. Understand, I was like, you know, not quite 6. But for my 6th birthday, I got a Daisy BB gun under supervision. And that went on for, I don't know, so many months. I mean, until he knew that I wasn't going to go out and act like a little douchebag with it and just shoot things I shouldn't. And, you know, then the 2nd year, I got the Power Master, the Pump Master. You know, I got the 22, 12 gauge, man, the 357, the 30-30. I mean, he was into firearms. He was definitely into firearms, and he put me in the NRA. You know, when I was really little, got the NRA book the magazine every month. Yes, I was military police corps. I only served 4 years. I didn't want to, hold on. I went to, oh, crap. Oh, okay. I thought that was a question. Yeah, and you know what? And this is me for anybody that's got a kid. Take them out with a gun. Teach them firearm safety. I mean, to a point under supervision that if they do not do something, like put that on safety, you know, because like when you fire and you shot, it goes on to safety. It's just like that. You know, you don't like this with a firearm with people around, because somebody will be like, well, it ain't loaded. Well, if you just aim that around, like right past somebody, and it was loaded, you're in the habit of doing that. Never even accidentally point a rifle towards somebody. Even if it's on safety and it's unloaded, you don't do it. You teach a person proper firearm safety. You run them through it until it becomes their habit. It's what they do. It's not because they have to think about it. You know, and that's how you teach somebody to shoot. How, you know, good firearm safety. It's a prerequisite, and it should be. If I was president of the United States, and I doubt that I will be, but I still am working toward emperor one day, I would definitely issue every single American, man, woman, child, a firearm, a rifle, and a handgun, enough ammo to get them through firearm training. But a person would have to actually pass firearm training. Because if you can't pass firearm training, you know, I mean, if you can't do that, you're probably not mentally equipped enough to handle a rifle on the street or a handgun. You know, you're just not there. But if you can, even a felon, even somebody that's committed murder and's out, you get a firearm. Because you know what? You know what an outlaw would do if they wanted a firearm? Man, they go down the road and buy an illegal one. I mean, look, man, they're going to commit a crime. They don't give a shit that it's stolen. They don't care. They got that firearm and they bought it, and there it is. You know, but what do? They take firearms away from people who did nothing at all. We're going to get rid of guns. No, you're not, because the illegal people, I mean, you know, the people is breaking the law. They can still go get those guns. All you're doing is targeting the innocent people who have a right to carry for their human self-protection. Fact. Okay, let's try to get this back on subject. You know, Katie, everybody brings this shack up. Everybody, everyone. And it's not any inside information. It's not anything like that. I'll tell you honestly, I don't even give a crap that he mentioned the shack. I didn't even watch the movie as how little I thought about him bringing the shack up. I think that he may have brought that up for the family because they had suffered in the same way the guy in the movie did. And they, you know, they knew at that time that it was going to be a long while till they could talk to that suspect. They wanted maybe a way for them to watch that and maybe deal with it a little better. But I don't think it was anything directed at the suspect who they felt might be in the room or any of that garbage. I mean, the whole briefing was just literally crap. To me. To me. Other people are like, how dare you say that? Well, I'd say it right to their face. I don't care for law enforcement, and I don't care how they feel about it. You know what? Let me pull up a picture real fast. Hold tight. Let me take this off right here real quick, and I will be right back. Well, you'll still see me, I think. Nope. I could have swore it was in here. Maybe it's in here. Huh. Ooh. No, it is not. Well, somewhere out here in my pictures, I got a picture of my uncle slash brother. I mean, he was raised by the same parents as me, is why I kind of call him a brother in a way. But he was honestly my uncle, and he was the head detective here in Kokomo, Indiana. I never liked him. I always thought that he was a policeman, and he acted like a policeman. And to me, he was a piece of shit. I never liked the guy, and I don't want to talk like that about him. He just died a few months ago. But it is what it is. I didn't like him. Look, anybody that will arrest a human being for a victimless crime, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're not American. You're treasonous. That is a fact. That is a fact. If you are an American and nobody was hurt in your crime and they're arresting you for it, all they're after is your money. Period. Not about justice, nothing like that. It's about getting your money. It's like a tax. That's why everything's against the law, so that they can get that revenue. Oh, you were speeding. You owe us money. You don't have a seatbelt on. You owe us money. What? Right here. Right there, man. Yes, everybody should. And I mean, if it was up to me, it would go further than America. It would go way further than America, because I mean, you look at the countries where a person is not allowed a firearm, and I mean, it's like in I believe England. I mean, I think that you can have up to a certain caliber if you're licensed to. Because I mean, I seen a guy, and he's on another channel, and they had a rifle in the background that was at the wall, and I said I thought it was illegal to have one. They said no, you can have, and I forget what it went to or how he phrased that, but you have to be kind of licensed or something like that in order to have one, and that's wrong, because in every country, don't care the country, everybody should be able to have a way to protect themselves by whatever means. And if you look at London, you know how they get killed over there? Mainly with a knife. You want to kill somebody? I got a knife. You take guns away from America. You know how people die, just like in London. People go around stabbing, blow them up. If somebody's out to commit murder, they're going to commit murder. It don't matter if it's a weapon, or like a handgun, a assault rifle, an explosive, like what is his name? McVeigh, it's just a matter of how big you want to go and how you want to do it. Yeah, they will always find a way. I mean, if you're going to commit murder and you go, well, I don't have a gun. Crap. Well, I guess I can't do it. Wrong. Because the person can use anything to commit murder. Poison. I mean, it's just any way that you want to go commit murder. But when the federal government, or they want the federal government to take guns away from everybody, aside of cops and like law enforcement, military, their armed security. It's funny how these people have a right to for self-protection, but they take it away from us, the people that they're sworn to protect, and represent, to the Constitution, which is an outright lie. They don't do that. Does America see that? No, of course they don't. Because if they did, America would have turned a long time ago. I believe America still got a sack, but we're divided, man. They make sure we're divided. Religion, we don't like your religion. Man, woman, we don't like that. It's the class warfare. They're rich. Look at us. We're poor. It's all a way to divide people. And when people see that and really know and understand, and this is why I don't watch television. I do not watch television. I will not watch television because it's there just basically to make you think the way that they want. What cryptic hints? Did I miss a cryptic hint? Yeah, you know what? I give Trump his due. I think that Trump is doing correctly to a degree. I think that there is only so much that Trump can do. I mean, but you got to understand what he's facing. And if you really knew what he was facing, you would kind of understand, because it's just not the Democratic Party, man. You got the Federal Reserve. You know who the Federal Reserve owns? Every single politician, almost every single one. So he can't go in there and in the Federal Reserve. He can't go back on the gold standard. He can't end taxation. He can't go through and do all these things yet. But if he gets 4 more years and he gets a Republican Congress, it's done. And you will see a very mighty America come back. If there's a cover-up, who would be worth more than 259,000 covering up for? There is no cover-up. There isn't. There just isn't. I mean, there was a time when I thought, yeah, something's up. Now, this is probably in about July, August, September. You know what? It was right about the time that Daniel Nations became a person of interest when they went out to talk to him. But it was right about that time, because I'm like, look, man, they've had the FBI on this for months, man. The state of, Indiana State Police, Carroll County and all surrounding counties investigating. They've got a lot of tips, man. We got photos of the guy. We got audio of the guy. We got 2 people that seen him. We got a sketch. Wait, why isn't anybody being arrested? And it kind of smelt of something along the lines of a cover-up. Now, I was never, ever on the side that a cop did it, because I can state right here, I mean, even having been military police, if my best friend in the world, I'm not talking wealth here, but if my best friend in the whole world had committed something like that and I knew about it, he would be in prison. I wouldn't go talk to him about it. I wouldn't pat him on the back and say, dude, why? Say that dude's got to go to prison. And apparently he wasn't who I thought he was. You know, nobody's going to stand by someone's side who would commit a crime like that. Oh, man, hang on. You know what? Oh, geez, I was way behind. Pardon, people. Okay. Oh, Alaska Blues here. Thanks for being here, Alaska. I sent you a message. I didn't know when you would get it. Yeah, nobody would. And when, you know, people were saying for a long time, oh, I think one of the cops did it, and that's why they're covering it up. Are you saying now cops are criminal? Cops are corrupt. Know that. And there's not a cop out there that isn't. Every single cop is. I know that we're supposed to respect our boys in blue because they protect it. No, they don't. They don't do anything except take your money. That's their job, to contract, get a case against you so that they can take you into court and take your money. That's the cop's job. They stopped protecting and serving a long, long time ago. They don't do that. Cops see you as the problem. You're the problem. You're lying. You're covering up. You know, that's a cop because they want your money. The bigger the bust, the bigger the boost. Yeah, Officer Stadenko, if you know what I mean. That's exactly how cops look at it. I would tell any cop, any cop, right to his face. Yeah, it is. You're corrupt as hell. You are far more corrupt than these people that you're arresting. Or your kids, your house, your money. They'll take anything. Then the county goes, that's ours now. Because that's what it amounts to. It's a taxation on what they call law. It's codes and statutes. It's not even real law. In America, a law has to fall under common law. They don't practice common law. They don't. I think there's one court in the world that does. And I forget what the... But they're the only ones that would go under common law. Yeah, Obama administration division. Yeah, that was his purpose. You know what? In that election, and I don't know how, I really don't. I mean, how could Obama beat Alan Keyes in a debate? There's no way. No way. Alan Keyes is basically Donald Trump. I mean, in what he would have done. Alan Keyes would have been the greatest, and I go all the way back to 95 saying that, the greatest president that we would have had, because he's straight libertarian. And there is no way that Obama could have beat him in a debate unless the debate was rigged where they go, well, Obama clearly won that, man. That man can't be stopped. Now, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be president one day because, man, we just love the world out of him. That's how it amounts. And people go, wow, man, Obama must be really good. Because people think like television tells them to think. Common law, yeah. You know what? It's not a dumb question because everybody should know what common law is. You know, in the Constitution, it states that if a person is tried criminally in America, it must be under common law jurisdiction. Common law dictates that you got to hurt a person, hurt them, or their property, hurt it, or steal. Because if you didn't commit one of those or something that included one of those, you're like a king. That was our freedom. We were under common law. Everyone, man, woman, and child, we were under common law. And that was taken away in 1933 with the, it was basically a reorganization. That's when, it's in capital letters, United States of America. That tells you right there it's a corporation. You know, we are no longer the country of the United States. We're the United States of America, all capitalized. What's your name look like? Look at any ID you have, any. Your name's in all capital letters. Do you know why? Because you're a corporation. That's right. They made you a corporation. They own your name. The state and the government owns your name. Anything that you own, they own. Your property, if you own a title to your property, you're listed on that deed as a tenant because they tax you. Your car, you got to have it registered, you got to have it plated, you got to have it insured, and you got to obey the speed limit, you got to wear your seatbelt. And you know why? Because the state owns your car. Yeah, you buy it, you own that title, but the real fact of it is the state owns it. That's why you have to obey all that crap. And it's because they own your name. So a person says, wait, Denver, Colorado is not common law. Or are you asking, is a common law state? I don't know how that is. Kind of rephrase that, Mama Bear. But you can, in America, own your name. Very simple. Very simple. And when you own your name, you go back to being under common law, not all this crap law. They can't say anything to you, and a judge will just throw it right out and give you money for bringing you in. True fact. And that's not legal advice. I'm telling you that because it's entertainment. It's information and entertainment, but I'm not telling you what to do legally. Know that. No, because federally we are under maritime admiralty law. There is no court in America. There is one, it's an international court of exchange or something like that, because it's international, that falls under common law. But if you are ever taken to court criminally, you are not under common law, ever. Not in America. Not in this country, you're not. Now, the Constitution says you've got to be, but again, when they own your name, that's what changed it. That's totally what changed it. It's the day that they made you a corporation. A court in America sees you as a child, lost at sea, that doesn't own anything and is likely dead. That's why they don't give a crap. Now, when you go in and you own your name, then basically you own that straw man name, that little corporation. When you gain full control over it, they can't do anything. You can say, excuse me, no, that is not me. Is this your true and correct name? No, it is not. That is a debtor name that I own on a UCC1 financing statement. Here's my number. They look that up, see that you registered your birth certificate to yourself. Have a nice day, because they can't touch you. Now you own your name, not the state. You see where I'm at? And that's what puts you back under common law, because they can't. If I was taken to court and there wasn't somebody to take that stand that I had injured, then they cannot try me. It don't matter what they say. They cannot try me. They say, well, you're being tried, the state of Indiana versus. Okay, I'd like to call the state of Indiana to the stand. Well, you can't take the stand, because the state of Indiana isn't a person. You've got to put a person on that stand or it's not common law. Now, they can do that if you don't own your name, if you don't know better. But even if you do, if you go in and plead anything like that, you're still going to be hit. It's their jurisdiction. They'll do as they please. You own your name, guess what? They can't. They know it. They know it. You're outside of their jurisdiction. They'll bid you a fair day. And I'll be like, hey, I need some recourse for this, because apparently this law has hurt me and taken my time. You see, we were way, way, way off topic, and people are leaving on account of that. If we could take this back to Delphi for the next 22 minutes, that would be fantastic. Okay. I'm not sure what that pertains to right there. You know what? That is very close right there. Now, I'll put it to you like this. In the 1933, it's HJR 192. That was Roosevelt's executive order, because what they did was they took money. Because in America, there's only two ways to pay for something, and that was gold and silver. And the dollar was backed by gold and silver. When they took that away, then they handed you a Federal Reserve note that says a promise to pay. Well, that's not real American money. If a person says, I have $1 million, no, you got 1 million little promises to pay. It will buy things. We have faith that it buys things, sure, but it's not real American money. They took that from us. But what they did is they gave us a remedy. Because what happens is any and all debts that a person would own, provided, okay, that you own your name. And you got to file that with the UCC. You actually have to go through the full steps of that. You know, you got to get your long form birth certificate. You got to send it to a state to be authenticated. Then you got to send it to the government, the Secretary of State, to have it federally authenticated. Then it's a perfected document. Then you file that in your UCC as you own birth certificate from your state of your birth, blah, 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 give the filing number. And when you put that on there, once that's registered, now you can go in because all states are UCC. If you go to court and you say, no, that is not my name. In fact, I filed a contract with that debtor name. That is a debtor name that does not belong to me. This is my UCC number. They looked that up. Have a good one, because you're out there. They can't touch you. You're out. You're out of their hands. State and federal, it's like being exempt from state and federal prosecution unless you hurt someone, unless you violate common law, then they can hit you. So yeah, they do have that remedy, because here's part of it. When you own your name, you can then file a chargeback with the Secretary of Treasury. And because your birth certificate is a bond, okay, and you can name that bond. As we sit here right now, everybody's birth certificate has endless money. Endless. It's an endless bank account. When you go get a loan, they're basically giving you money that you got to sign for, and then you got to pay that back with interest. You see, when you own that name, when you own your name, you can file back to that on the thing and claim that at 100. You could give any amount to that, like $100 million. Okay. Now, then you can file accepted for value on that. If somebody says, okay, you owe us $50,000, bam, you take that, you got the stamp accepted for value, gives your UCC number, your social security number, all this, you sign off on it. You put that up in there with the bill, you send it to the Secretary of Treasury, and they will dissolve that. They will dissolve that debt, because that's all in the HJ R192 that Roosevelt wrote. Look it up. Look it up. HJR 192. It will open many doors. Many doors. No, it's not really about an alias. It's just like me going by Michael Cat. It's a business name, because I can't go by Michael Stroop on here because they done deleted that account. I didn't even want to go by Michael Stroop to begin with, because that's my real name. But I mean, if you use an alias, that's just something that you go by. That's why law enforcement wants to know, if you go to jail, have you ever used any aliases, anything somebody would know you by? You see where I'm at? That's why they want to know that. And Las Vegas, when I had checked, because I had what was it? Keith Timmons, Stephen Dallas, Robert Scorpio. I mean, I had a list of names. I think one of them was Michael Stephen Timmons, Dallas. And basically it was soap opera and cartoon characters. And then, when they would call my name in, they'd be like, AKA, and the guy would be like, what the hell? What are you into, pal? Hang on. I seen some dumb question. Yes. Yeah. I believe so. Now, when they go in, if a person writes to him, they will open the letter to make sure that there's no, nothing that's in there that shouldn't be in there, no contraband. But if you write a letter from in there, I mean, usually you got to leave that thing open, but they don't sit and read it, because then that does violate privacy. So, but you know what? If he wrote me a letter and said that, he's not under oath. You see where I'm at? I could take that to the cops and say, look what he said. He isn't under oath. We don't care what he said. You know, and that's how they look at it. We don't care. You know, I mean, he could have confessed to every last thing, because unless they go in there and they talk to him and they get that on an official, you know, confession, it's not their time. It's not their place. It's beyond what they have jurisdiction to be looking at. Yeah, Stroop's a good last name. It's German. I don't mind the name. I actually like my name. My real name, if my parents had gotten married, and I mean, I'm thankful they didn't. They were young. I don't think that would have lasted. But had they gotten married, my name would be Michael Bolton, and I would have hated him for it. I would have hated him for being him at that time, just like that guy in the movie, man. And I forget the name of the movie. There was a movie where a guy's name was Michael Bolton, and everybody's like, "Oh, you must like Bolton," you know, and he's all like, it would have been the same exact way, because I would have really just not liked that guy for having that name and putting it out there like that. Brian Butterworth. Oh my God. Now, you know what? No. No. You're cool. I was thinking about having you banned, but I'm not going to now. I think that you've seen the error of your ways. I think you've seen where you messed up. The straw man. Exactly. And that is fact. Very fact. Your full capitalized name on all of your ID, that is the straw man name. It's a debtor name. It's a created corporation, because a corporation doesn't have rights, but you as a human do. Now, when you sign on, yes, that's my true and correct name. They give you a bill in that name. You know, everything revolves around that name. So much so that when you see your name in all capitalized spelling, yeah, that's my name. Judge says, is that your true and correct name? Yes, sir, it is. Well, they got you right there. Because what you should say is like, no, of course it isn't. Would you plead guilty? No, I don't plead at all. I don't consent. I do not consent. You have me on here in a victimless crime. I do not consent. Release me. I don't want what? I don't understand, Brian. I don't want what? Okay, well, I can wait on that, but still. Oh, no, Leslie. He got him. Anyone can write you in jail. Anyone. And you always get those letters. It's a federal offense to actually mess with the letters. They can't say you don't get your letters. It wouldn't matter who wrote me. You know, you're going to get that letter. I mean, I know he got my letters. I definitely feel he can't write back, because I mean, like in a lot of them, it wasn't that I was asking him for questions exactly. I was telling him, you know, what I knew. I was telling him what went on at these. There's a lot of things that he could have answered me back to, but I don't think that he could, even if he wanted to, because I think that if he's allowed to write an instrument, it's while they're there and it's something that he can write. He can get his letters and read them, but he can't have something where he could hurt himself. No, Alaska, because no, there's no reason for that. Because look, man, I mean, I feel he would have wrote me back. I really do. You know, somebody brought that up to me with the universal. It's like a universal ID, and I believe that it is legal to have. The thing is that when you get a driver's license or a state ID, that's the state. That's them saying, like, hey, we own you. This is your full capitalized name. When you show somebody that right there and they go like, okay, well, you're that capitalized name. This is the ID that you handed me. You see where I'm at? And honestly, I don't know where this lies. I know it's not against. Yes, Michael Bolton, exactly. That would have been my name. That's my dad's last name's Bolton. So I mean, it's one of those things. If a cop asked me for my ID, I'd be like, I ain't giving you no ID. I mean, they take me to jail on that. I'm so like, yeah, I ain't got no ID. I am who I say I am. I'm sure that he is allowed visitation. Because I mean, like, lawyer, this and that, where they go in to talk to him. You got to be allowed visitation, no matter what, even if you're on suicide watch, this and that. I mean, they still allow you, they take you to that little room, where you can like sit and talk to the other person, but everybody's allowed visitation, to my knowledge. Yeah, I think anybody could go there to visit, but it's just like Carroll County. You got to have the people that would come and visit. That way, they're on the list. If somebody's going to come visit you, they got to be on that list. Well, if you do go visit him, get a hold of me. I mean, there's some things I want to know. But he couldn't answer on that case anyway. There's no way. I mean, lawyer tell him, man, don't talk about any case. Nothing. Not that he would, because he already knows he's up a creek. Yeah, when they get mail. When they get mail, but it's not the outgoing mail. All right, we got 8 minutes. If anybody's got any questions, let's get them up there. Yeah, but that's what I told him, Dave. I told him, I says, put me on your list for visitation. I said, but make sure I'm there, because like I'm probably not going to get down there to St. Louis to go visiting for like a short bit of time. And if I did, I mean, it would only be to be asking questions that he couldn't answer anyway. But if he's up here, then I went in there. Then I went in, because probably just to yell, scream, call him a monster, call it what you want, explain Amber Green to him, and somewhere. And I should have that here. Hang on a quick sec. Let me go find my Amber Green photo. Give me Amber Green. This is Amber Green here. Hold on 1 second. You should be able to see this, I believe. That's Amber right there, and he's swinging. If you can't tell, he's swinging. He's definitely swinging, people. That right there was where he was hung at. At the time when he was hung, it was a one-room school building that sat on that property. And then they closed it because the kids that went there and all, I mean, everybody felt that it would be haunted and this and that. And I think that they burnt that down a year, 2 years after he's hanging. And then, let me think, oh man, I almost had the name. Starts with a B. But anyway, they're the ones that bought the property after that. And that was in 1869. You know what? Right there. And thank you. You know what? This show right here is dedicated to Perk Devlin right there, because that is a question. That right there is a good question. And that is something that I've tried to get. I tried to get the Jamie Schmidt autopsy so that I could find out the caliber, because I know the handguns that the man had. And I know that if I can match that one that he had at that time, it was probably the same or identical one that was used in Delphi and Evansdale. And believe me, I have tried to locate that weapon. But I know that he had a Glock 43, Sig Sauer, and a 22 caliber, a handgun. And if I knew that, that would definitely help. I also tried looking up the dates and the years of the murders to try to find the car that was there at the time. But all of them are daytime photos. And while he wasn't working, his wife was. And there's, in a lot of cases, there wasn't a car there, or if it was, you could only see it from satellite, but you couldn't get it from Street View because Street View brought you to today. But I've tried in every way to find that out, Berg. And that is a good question. Thank you very much from that. Lancaster, Pennsylvania? Yeah, that's a little Amish. You know what? I may. If somebody wants my ugly ass on their shirt, you know, I'd be like, hey, here's a Michael J. Cat generally correct shirt. Bam. You know what? I could do that and give them away, but it just sounds so braggadocio to hand out shirts with you on them. You see where I'm at? Like, look, you could win a shirt with me on it. I ain't all that important. I mean, the only thing that I give myself credit for on this case is knowing it to the bottom and back. That I can give myself. You know, Greeno had talked about that, Leslie. Like, I'm obsessed with this case. And I'm like, how? You know everything there is to know up to this point. Well, and he keeps staring at the picture like he knew the guy. I'm like, dude, if you knew the guy, you would have knew it a long time ago. I'll tell you what, Leslie, this is what I tell people that want to look into this case. Get on YouTube and look up all the original press conferences on Delphi. Look up Delphi press conference, like the beginning ones, interviews with law enforcement officers, because right off the bat, they had the FBI, the Indiana State Police, you know, Doug Carter. You know, everybody was there, and they was talking about what had happened. When the sketch came out, they was talking about the people, you know, and when you watch all that and you look at the case, how the guy, you know, you can start piecing a lot of things together. And one of the top ones that I always tell people is this man had never been caught committing a crime before, period. That is a fact. If you're looking at any person of interest, and you can go to mycase.com and you put their name in, if they had ever been arrested prior to February 13th of 2017, it isn't them. I don't care if he looks exactly like Bridge Guy. It ain't him. It isn't. because this person had never been caught committing a crime. I was told that. And you know what? That's exactly what St. Louis said when they called Carroll County. This man had never been caught committing a crime. Yeah, but you know what? It wasn't washed today, man. I mean, I seriously spent this day cleaning my house and rearranging, and it got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't like this the way it's arranged. Oh, man, I'm going to rearrange it again. Sleep, people. You don't know what you miss until it's gone, and then you don't know it's gone until you get it, and you're like, wow, it's a new world. Meditate, Mark. Kind of take your mind off of it. I mean, I'm at a point where my lake, I seen Lake Schaefer, where my mind will kind of like dwell on certain points of it. But the rest, I mean, I believe I got it hammered down. I mean, I think I got this case. I know how it's played out. I kind of know the ins and the outs of how it went down, not the crime, not specifically the killing part. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about the man, as to how this all went down. Lancaster, England. Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking like, man, Lancaster over here, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's a big Amish spot. It's actually a tourist attraction. A couple that lived down here for 6 years, really good friends of mine. They went there for their, what was it? I think it was their 8th or 9th anniversary. They went to Lancaster and was there in a, so it was some kind of a treehouse thing that they had set up. Really had a great time, man. Bought a lot of Amish stuff from there. I'm going on about the Amish, but Lancaster over there, I mean, I'm sure it's great. Love England. I think that, when there was great music in the world, nobody, no one, nothing touched the British, man. You had the Beatles, the Stones, Zeppelin, Deep Purple. I mean, that's just naming a few, man. Just a few. All of the greats came from England, man. Just great music, man. Solid. I miss it. Oh, you know what? I'm glad that I do, Mark. Yeah, I don't know what to I don't know what to say. I mean, if your mind's constantly in this case, you really want some questions answered. You go there, and a lot of questions will, watch them, rewatch them, watch them again until you know them by heart. And after a while, you'll start to see when people say something, you're like, well, that can't be, because, and you can definitely point to, because you will start to learn the case. When a person goes and they start looking through Facebook for information, that's where they're messing up, because nobody on Facebook knows anything. If you hear, well, but I heard, if you heard, it's crap. But there's a rumor that, yeah, it's a rumor. That's exactly what it is. Leave it at that. Don't bring it to me. I don't like that. That upsets me. That upsets me a lot. But even if somebody did, because a lady got a hold of me, and this is going back some months ago, and she's like, I really need to ask you some questions, man. I get, and when she got a hold of me, she's like, well, what I don't understand. And I don't remember exactly what it was she said at this, now, but, she was like really giving me some Facebook stuff. And I'm like, whoa, hold it right there. Just stop. What you're giving me is Facebook rumor. Don't go there. Don't listen to that crap. And please don't bring it to me. Because if it comes off of Facebook and it's rumor of this and that, that's all it is. No one knows anything outside of what has been given by law enforcement. Now, what I'm giving you is my best educated work on this. Nothing more. But I think that my work stands. I do. I do right now. I am at 100% that he committed both crimes. What if I'm wrong? Somebody said, but what if you're wrong? I'm wrong. I take nothing away from my investigation, because it was 100% true. Every word that I've given about every connection between him and that, it's all true. Now, anything that I've speculated on is speculation based on evidence and educated guess upon that. Nothing more. I mean, it does not hurt me if I was wrong. It would be a little embarrassing, mind you, but it would not hurt me any. Oh, you know what? If you have the book, if you don't, You know what? Let me grab that real quick because I do have the book. And I would like to throw out a name. This is the book. Now, mind you that this book is a printed copy that I got from the library. And Rebecca Baxter's husband drew the art on the front right there. Actually did a very good job on it. But I can get back to here. See, and I even got these things like covered. Great book, man. See right here, because all of this book was taken right out of the paper. See, Delphi Times. It's like everything in here was taken out of the paper. Bam. There's Amber Green swinging by a tree. We just seen that, though. Now, this right here, if you can see that clear, that was Delphi's courthouse in 1869. That's what it looked like. This right here was their jail, which is actually bigger than what it is today. Oh, and this right here, it was Amber Green's. Man, I'm reaching to the wrong side. This was his house in Young America. That house still stands. It does, man. I mean, a guy owns that. Oh, this right here, bam, right there, where that tree is, right there on that corner, that's where he was hung at. And that is probably at 200 yards from my dad's house. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Michael Griffey did the research on that book, and he came out with a second book, and I think that was about 1 year ago, maybe just over a year ago. And that is worth looking up if you have any interest, because then it's told as a story, not like he made it up, but it's told as a story rather than just in newspaper articles that explain it. And he did a very good job. You should check into that. Put in Michael Griffey, Amber Green on Google, and it will probably pull up an Amazon link to where you can buy it. Definitely worth your time. I bought it, and I told him I wanted to do a online interview with him on behalf of that, because in Carroll County, there's 2 unsolved murders cases. Amber Green's, the one of Luella Mabbitt, and the 2 girls. Those are the only 2 unsolved murders right there. And that case is still unsolved because he was hung before he actually went to court and got convicted. Old Amber Green. You know what? Now, here's what's weird is they buried him in Ohio, and they buried him as Abner Green rather than Amber, because I think that they messed it up, typos back then. Amber, okay, Amber, so they buried him as Abner Green. But you can find his stone on Find a Grave. But remember, it's under Abner Green. But you'll see he died in 1869. It was right there in his where his family was buried. That's how you know it's him. How is that unsolved? I mean, it is if it's a crime, but we don't know that it's a crime. I mean, nobody said somebody went there and purposely set fire to kill them. I mean, you see what I mean? I mean, I give you your props on what you're saying, but it wasn't set out that those girls were murdered. They died in a fire that I believe was arson. I do. And I think that was tried to cover by Dennis Randall, for sure. He quit being sheriff. Why? He had charges pressed against him for not feeding us correctly. He didn't. So he says, hey, I ain't sheriff anymore. Ha ha ha. Well, in this one, he's like, hey, I ain't the fire guy anymore. Bite me. You can't get me charges now. So, well, I think that it was under suspicion of arson, but I don't think that anybody had went in and said that it was, because that wasn't what Dennis Randall had wrote. He didn't say it was perfectly or that it was set. I think it still remains under suspicion of arson. And who was it? Doug Carter's like, I was outraged when I heard this. If there was anything like that could have happened, we'll get to the bottom of it. And I'm like, yeah, right. It never happened because Doug Carter's a liar. That's what he does. He's paid to get up there and lie whenever need be. The news cameras are on you. You know what to say? Dude, I got this. Oh, my God. Yeah, if it is, we'll get right to the bottom of it. And you know he's lying because you'll never hear another word about it. That's how it operates. Indiana State Police, they don't give a shit. Honestly, they don't give a flying. They don't. What they want, revenue. If it's an untouchable like Dennis Randall, we'll get to the bottom of it, but it ain't Dennis Randall, that's for sure. Oh, man, you're cool. Go on, man. All right. If anybody's got a question, I'm giving this 5 minutes. 5 minutes till 15 after 8. Go. Oh, wait. You know what? I hope not. I hope not. And here's why. Because I was not a death penalty state. Missouri moved away from the death penalty on that. They went with life without parole because we're leftist twits. And we don't want to hurt his feelings. Not me. Indiana's death penalty state. If they go in there, even if he confesses, it's like, dude, we don't care if you confess. We got you. You know it. And you're facing death, pal. That's what should be done. If the prosecutor don't do that, guess what? Well, no, you know what? I can't say that because everybody will go, yay, but he got him and he was arrested and he's got to do. No. Because if they don't go for death, he's a piece of shit too. This man needs to die in Indiana. Period. I'm not saying Amber Green. I'm not saying 250 masked men show up, break him out, and throw him off the bridge and shit with a rope attached. I'm saying we need to seek the death penalty by prosecutor. There it is. Because, man, you start saying things like Amber Green and bringing that up, and then people go in and do it, they'll go, Michael Catt told him to. They got it from him. But you thumbs me down, firstly. No, anyway, but I would hope not, even if he does confess. I mean, they should still go on the death penalty. Oh, thank you very much, Mark. And appreciate it. Appreciate it the most. Three minutes. We got 3 minutes. I've been on here 2 hours and 8 minutes. Seems like that, man. It just does. It just goes by so quick. Yeah, like I said, Iowa can't now. The citizens of Evansdale want death for, when that suspect's brought in, they're like kind of demanding, man, we want this guy to die. But they're not being a death penalty state, they can't. But Indiana can. And that's where we got, that's where we got the upper hand. Because even if he confesses, you got to give him death. I mean, what's the justice of him doing life without parole in Missouri? Big deal on that for this case. He's already got that for that. We got to give him something to where he knows, dude, you effed up real bad. Real bad. Oh, it's him, Amelia. It is. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it is 100%. I'd never say that if I was like left with questions I couldn't answer. There's a very few questions that I have, and that relates to his ownership of things that I can't. I know that he owned handguns. That's not in question. The one used, I don't know. But that's a question. Which one was used? Well, I know that the one he used down there at the Catholic supply store, probably the same one used at Evansdale. to hold the girls under duress is all I'm getting at. Not, but at the same time, it was probably the one that he had on hand then. Explain that. The Def Leppard. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay. We got like 1 minute. Hit me with a good question. Somebody. I want a good question to go out on. Let me have it. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit me with a question. A final question. If it's your question, it's already answered. Go. Oh, good night, Wendy. Yeah, it is pretty late. It's only 8:15 p.m. here. Okay, well, that wraps it up for me, everybody, man. I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. And you know what? If you guys didn't show up, I would have just been sitting here talking, to myself. So I appreciate everybody coming here and getting some information and giving me some questions. I know I got a little off topic. I do that here and there because, you try to answer things. And when you try to answer, you can get off topic if it comes to like firearms, and other things, ownership of names, so on. But anyway, I appreciate you guys being here, and I will catch you in my next video, which will probably be next Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Be there. Don't wait for a notification. It won't happen. Later, y'all.